on television. We're also online at www.myjoyonline.com. If you don't have the MyJoy Online app, do want to download it right now from the Apple Store, the Google Play Store. Just install it on your phone, and you can watch all our programs and listen to all content from the multimedia group. Thank me later. Show proudly brought to you by Ghana's most reliable mobile telecommunications network. That's MTN everywhere you go, and High Five Chocomore, that's the new normal. And we're just about to get into our conversation. We got our gentleman in the studio. Rasta, where have you been, Massa? Where were you when Stonewall was taking the entire crew to France? You know, go some.
Yeah, he forgot and then he left me here.
Are they back?
I am here to check with immigration.
But if they are part of the team, you know whether or not they are back.
So Stoneboy is in town. Him and Focalist, we filmed a music video accompanying their song for his upcoming album 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, so if you are looking for him, he's here.
He's here. Okay, all right. If you, I'm not looking for him yet, but who knows? I just might eventually.
Oh, you miss him?
Oh yeah, he has to visit us one of these days. You know, Stoneboy is always mood. Anytime he comes onto the microphone, something will trend. Yeah, something will trend. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Okay.
Latif.
Chairman.
Yeah, Yadi.
Lahi, hello.
Why you not put me for play inside? Or sometimes people forget I'm an actor. Eh?
No. It's
So-
in the process. It's in the process.
It is in the process.
I remember some. Is it 2019? We spoke about this.
Yes, we spoke.
So it will happen.
No, it was 2018. It's been
18.
long.
Hey.
Yeah.
The 2020 is not being counted now. So.
No. 2020 didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Yeah, so I'm sure definitely something will happen.
Especially now that you've partnered Joy Entertainment.
Oh yeah.
Big things
Huge.
about
It's
about
huge,
to
it's
happen.
huge.
So if you want me, you'd have to speak to my manager, Chairman Nine.
Hey,
Yeah.
another process coming.
Yeah. Chairman Nine.
Okay.
The brokest chairman in Ghana.
Oh.
He no
Then-
get persuade.
Then we are there though.
Yeah.
Because if someone is broke, he will put all his pressure on me.
Oh, we're even doing susu for him. You know, Adansi Travels is taking him to Maldives and Dubai. You can actually be part of the trip.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
give you the number.
Yeah,
The man has gone to Seoul Fugu 5. He says he hears the weather in Maldives is cold.
What about Dubai?
Yeah.
Dubai is not part.
So he has gone to Seoul Fugu 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fugu.
Hey.
Taken to Maldives. Not easy.
Philip.
Mm.
Ayo.
Mr. Amwe Japan.
Yes, Mr. Quaye.
You know, when you passed earlier, Anita was asking, who's the Wanzam who has come in? I think it's your outfit.
What's a wanzam?
What's
a Wanzam?
Latif, tell him.
Wanzam is Peking surgeon.
They circumcise baby boys.
The local ones.
Is
the
a
local.
circumcision a good thing?
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. at
Okay,
all.
then there's nothing wrong with being a wanzam.
Yeah, he actually ordained you a potential Wanzam.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, so that you're not uncircumcised.
Yeah,
So that
exactly.
you be circumcised.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's okay.
I mean,
So, if you were Wanzam, what would be your name? Wanzam.
Well, you see,
Amwe Japan.
the name that goes with it depends on the value of the job. So if it's a very expensive job, then maybe it could
Actually,
be
it's
like
not too expensive.
It's not.
It's
Then
not too
if it's
expensive.
not expensive and it's cheap, then I could be called a George Quaye.
you know, I nearly said Philip now because of the premise. Because of the premise George gave us.
I like that. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. But, Chairman, you've been AWOL.
Yeah, I quit the show. I told Philip I wasn't coming again.
Why?
I wasn't happy because Charlie.
It's Kanisha.
Yeah, the money no.
Okay.
And when we come, there's no drink. You know,
I
there's
don't
no
even know
malt.
why. There's nothing.
You have to beg. before
Meanwhile,
Philip
you've got
gives you
High Five
water.
Choco Malt. You used to give us High Five these
The
days. You don't
amazing
bring
sponsors
it.
on the program.
Charlie.
The sponsors have never reached out to us to say, look, guys, maybe look here is A, B, C, D.
You know
no,
this.
nothing, bro.
Yeah.
So
Jesse, I would want to also congratulate you on having taken that stance because I just saw the buffet tray out there,
Oh,
and
really?
I've also been notified that henceforth the allowances has been increased.
Oh,
you
Joy
know,
FM,
so-
wonderful,
Yeah,
wonderful.
Yeah. So
Wonderful.
we give thanks to Adam, Miss Adam,
Buffet tree.
and
Charlie, I believe Kwame. I believe Kwame.
yeah.
I'm sure it's there.
But Rasta, where you see him for?
On a virtual space.
Oh, they wear the specs, so
I said it, on a
anything could
virtual.
have happened, you know. Anything
It's just
could have
virtual.
So I decided to boycott it. Actually.
Oh, Charlie. But then we're happy to welcome
So
you.
I'm only here because you George Quaye called me.
Exactly.
I would have been home
Oh, Charlie.
wondering why Arsenal lost. So it's fine.
It doesn't matter.
This matter.
Yes.
This matter. So you share my lamentations.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe soon we'll get to
George,
Ecclesiastes,
do you
but-
support Arsenal?
I can't.
What's your problem?
I can't support Arsenal.
So then it's okay.
I pity Arsenal supporters.
Oh.
Very important people I know support Arsenal.
Yet they can't even stand when their partners cheat.
I don't
And
get
and
it.
They will leave.
I don't get it.
You have a team cheating on you for about 2 years.
I don't get it.
You are still there.
I simply don't get it.
From that comparison.
Or did you're an Arsenal fan?
Yes, please.
Is that why you named the play something must kill a man? Arsenal is killing you.
I
Eh?
I don't know why people were tagging something muscular man when Arsenal lost yesterday. But I mean, it could be one of those things because if you watch some of the videos trending,
Yeah.
it nearly killed one of the Arsenal supporters in the Arsenal family
Yes.
as part of the team. One of the key camera guys. He nearly killed him because he was just there trying to hit the camera, screaming here and there, shouting at the coach. I mean, on screen, as if the coach is even hearing. It's pathetic.
DSTV wants to move their matches to Cartoon Network.
Oh, you too. Why?
Even the betting companies want to remove them.
Oh, no. But see, Arsenal is trending. No,
No,
they're
they are-
making money.
But talking about something must kill a man, let's get into it. I mean, you've been doing theater for a while.
Yep.
Has it been profitable?
Yeah. It is.
You make money.
It was very profitable during COVID.
Theater was very profitable during COVID,
Yes, please.
when there was nowhere to go.
Yes, please.
I'm confused.
So, I mean, it was very profitable during COVID because of the virtual space. We took advantage of the virtual space as Globe Productions. We're the first to move into virtual play,
Okay.
and it went well. We did thank God for Idiot, focus on COVID-19, and we had about 3.5 million views across
Wow.
board. It was huge, and the cost implication for setting up that production was a bit low compared to our normal production setup that we do. So you realize that because of the reach we had, a lot of corporate organizations wanted to come on board for subsequent ones. And we made more money. We did 3 virtual plays. And it
Very
was
interesting.
profitable.
And they were all very
Very
successful.
profitable.
That's very good to know.
Yeah.
Wow. And so how did you publicize these plays that you did virtually?
I mean, of course, through social media, obvious means. We partnered up with GTV, National Television, because it was also broadcast live on TV. And then we did same with the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Information, because this was focused on educating people on COVID-19. It was the first ever COVID-19 stage play in the world, staged on the 30th of April.
Okay.
So it had a lot of reach across the globe.
Across the
And
globe.
Yeah, so it was good.
Globe Productions went across the globe.
Yeah. Globe Productions. went across
And this
the
time around, Globe Production decided to come home and partner Joy Entertainment. Why that?
I mean, we want to expand. Joy Entertainment is big. More importantly, we're saying that if people are lost, and we'll talk about the challenges we're facing theater. One of the
Exactly.
major challenges facing theater, and I keep hammering, the biggest hurdle is audience awareness
Exactly.
of that brand called theater. That is it. The theater psyche is a major hurdle. So we think that we want to use platforms that will reach majority of Ghanaians, for them to really get to understand that there's something called theater, which is so entertaining, educative, and relevant in our society. That is why we partnered Multimedia.
So what are you expecting from this partnership? What is Multimedia bringing and what are you bringing?
Multimedia is actually helping us reach the masses, and it's working. We just started this about a week ago, and we are actually yielding results. So that is what we actually need. We need coaching, because their experience when it comes to events too as well, and then building of brand. So definitely we'll tap into that experience in enhancing on our brand as Globe Productions too as well. But for us at Globe, I mean, quality, educative, comic play is what we always bring on board. If people want to have fun, people want to be educated, I mean, that is what we can do. That is our specialty, and we've been doing that over the last 10 years. In fact, this is our 11th year with regards to staging plays. So it tells you that we have the experience. We have 17 plays that we've done so far. And our audience base keep growing because of the quality of what our plays.
Interesting. Let me bring Rasta into the conversation, and of course Jesse as well. Rasta, have you ever had the opportunity to go see any of them plays that have been done anywhere, be it from Roverman, School of Performing Arts, University of Education at Winneba, National Theatre Conference, and you name it? Have you ever had the opportunity to go and see any of them?
Yes.
Which one did you go and see, and why did you even decide to go see it?
I've seen one at the Drama Studios,
University of Ghana.
University of Ghana. I've forgotten the title. And then I saw Uncle Ebu's one of the package he puts across during Christmas. Yes, I think I saw
Festival of Plays.
Yes, one of it. I had a lady friend who was working on the production, so she invited me, and I was impressed. I was impressed with, just that. But then I've had the opportunities to, the wives of Baba. Okay, so Wole Soyinka's daughter-in-law, I've forgotten her name. Anytime I go to the Akebuken Arts Festival in Nigeria, I mean, theater plays are the main feature. So I have, and then in South Africa too, and then Umoja. It's Umoja Theater.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so yes, that's as far as my experiences.
Yes. Jesse,
Yes.
had an opportunity to,
No, I haven't gone anywhere.
You've never gone to see any
Not
play.
even a nightclub.
You spent 4 years in Legon.
Yes.
You never went to the drama studio to see a play?
I tried to watch you. I think I came to one of the plays that you were
Featuring
featured.
in.
I think
Okay.
so. And I clearly I didn't pay.
Yes.
So I had to go through the back. So I think I was with the crew at the,
The
back.
back.
So I didn't get to watch you perform.
Wogbe Jeke, right?
Yes.
Yes, the amphitheater.
Yeah, Wogbe Jeke,
Yes,
but
yes,
Chief Moment.
yes.
I did that a couple of times.
Okay.
Now, but serious note. Before COVID,
Yeah.
I'd had a chance to watch almost about 3 or 4 Uncle Ebu's plays.
Please, okay.
Very, very good. I'd also gotten an opportunity to watch Latif's handiwork.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was in Tigo, I watched one of his plays. I was very clear and emphatic to him, and I would say it, that for what he's doing, give it time, he could rival Uncle Ebu fully in that particular space. If you remember, I had mentioned that we all both understood that Uncle Ebu brought experience, he brought a lot of equity as a category leader as at that time. And I also like the investment that he was putting into it. And so I like the humor, the play, the characters, everything else is solid. And I think it's a very key part of what we are building as an industry.
Ghana's living theatre landscape, the opportunities, growth, and challenges. That's what we want to look at right about now. And at some point, you mentioned Uncle Ebu, right?
Yes.
We'll raise him on the telephone line so that he can be a part of this conversation. Awesome. We're also going to speak to Auntie Amy at the National Theatre, and then we'll look at it. I mean, let me come to you, Abu. You've been doing theatre. And you did mention that COVID time, it was profitable. Let us go to pre-COVID, before COVID. Would you say same, that it was very profitable?
On and off. It gets profitable, and then you can easily go back. Sponsorship with regards to theater is not consistent.
Okay, so by that, you have decided to start it from the challenges part.
Yes.
The challenges.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you asked if it was profitable.
Yes.
And so sponsorship for theater is not consistent. And like I said, the audience awareness is not there. The penetration is very low. So being able to attract people to come watch plays is difficult because, first of all, there's a lot of ignorance about plays or theater as a whole. And we are not doing much in drumming the essence of theater to Ghanaians so well. So for me, it's been on and off. 2018-19 was very consistent, but before then, it's always been on and off. To clarify this, we started theater 2009. From 2009 was a blast. We had a full house. We partnered multimedia. We had a full house. We did romantic nonsense. Full house. We did a repeat show. Full house. Good. 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We've been owing.
Wow.
It never went right.
Wow.
It never went right. It was always, why? What is the reason? What is happening? It never went right. It was. So it went back. So we started with a full house. Then we went back to 1,005 capacity auditorium, just accommodating just about 100 to 200 people. So the numbers were from 100, 200, 300, 100, 200, 300, until we shot up to 500,000 around the 2016, 2017 era. Then it comes back a bit. Fortunately, 2018, 19 has been very consistent. That for sure, extremely consistent. You know, you are short of audience base around 1,500 for a production. That's good for theater plays in Ghana, extremely good. And then COVID came in, it was massive. We're expecting that this year's own will be better than the 1,005 audience base.
What do you think accounted for the drop after the initial successful takeoff?
I think
Could it be the patrons didn't like what they came to see?
No, the patrons actually liked what they came to see with regards to romantic nonsense.
So why didn't
Because
they come
when
back?
we did a repeated show, the place was full again.
So why didn't they come for the subsequent ones?
So it was the choice of partnership too as well.
Okay.
So when we went back, we realized that the choice of partnership, we actually did it with multimedia. And I had a conversation with Philip some time ago. The first one was multimedia. The second one, was it deceived or brainwashed to change partnership? And then we did, and it didn't work out well. But subsequently, when we came back to multimedia, it never worked out well again. And it was so difficult to explain why. And it was so difficult to explain why it never worked out again. We tried so many things. It takes time. It took so much energy, time, door-to-door campaigns. And so it's not just about the radio advert and TV advert that makes it happen. It's just that you realize that a lot of Ghanaians actually do not accept theater.
Hold that thought. Let me go to Jesse. Jesse,
Yes.
from a marketing communicator's point of view, let us treat theater as a product.
Yes.
Based on what Latif is saying.
Yes.
Would you say it is Ghanaians that don't accept theater? Because I have also been to a number of Igbo white productions, and it's always a full house.
Okay, so
And he also partners the same multimedia.
yes. So maybe let me pick this from two sides.
Okay.
If you speak in terms of comparing theater to the other
Entertainment options or
options,
offerings?
then theater might not be as pervasive and strong like the others.
Yeah.
So from that benchmark point of view, then yeah, you might say that look, others are delivering much more than that. But within their own captive audience, there's a strict captive base that has always followed theater up until now. And that base exists. But there has to be a driver for why the base would follow you today. Now, he has made a point about coming back to multimedia and it not working. So I'll give you a classical example. When I used to work in Guinness, at the top level of brand evaluation, you might say that somebody is an adorer of a brand,
Yeah.
or somebody is an adopter of a brand.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm a club beer drinker or a star drinker, and I walk into the bar and I'm an adopter,
Yeah.
and I want to drink star beer, and I don't find it, I will drink club.
Exactly.
Because I'm an adopter.
Adopter.
I'm not an adorer.
Yeah.
Now, in the same vein, if I am an adorer of the stagecraft,
Yeah.
and I'm an adorer of the unclable brand, which might be equivalent to, as an example, let's say that's club beer.
Club beer.
Yeah.
If the club beer is not available, typical adorers won't switch.
Yeah.
So in your mind's eye, like George, you're hoping that the lover of Uncle Lebo's equity and place
Would
should automatically translate to him.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that, especially if his consumers are adorers.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that he has to also build this captive base. So the real question would be, why did they come for romantic nonsense and not come for
The rest?
The rest? Good.
Yeah.
Finally, for me again, is who the Joy FM listener is. Now, the Joy FM listener has spent over 20 years with Uncle Lebo in the same bedroom. And he wakes up with them. They wake up with him. They follow that equity consistently. He's not just writing plays, but he's advising marriages. He's shaping businesses. He's shaping society. So that's why I said the equity that he has can even sell the play without he advertising it. So now, if he has to tap into the same following, don't expect a switch, because brand switches are a little bit difficult. So he needs to do more within, assuming multimedia is his pipeline. He has to do more, hoping that those who love the general concept of plays will switch. But if you're looking for a one-to-one mapping, 20,000 people follow Uncle Lebo, and therefore I want to see the same following him. It won't work.
Okay, so
Good. I like where you're going. Hold on. Let me come to Rasta. And for me, Rasta, I want you to look at it from the broader theater point of view. Based on the two arguments that we've heard, I mean, does it therefore conclude that, like Latif is saying, and Jesse actually did mention that in the beginning of his submission, that comparing to the other entertainment offerings, theater may not be as pervasive. Is there a problem? Problem might not be the appropriate word. As Latif,
Is there a general acceptability?
Is there a general acceptability? Is it that Ghanaians do not like theater?
Before he comes in, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No.
If you ask a question, do Ghanaians like ballet dancing? You will say no. But there's a cohort that likes it.
Yes.
Do Ghanaians
well,
like carry racing?
I think it's
You might
No,
say,
no,
so
I'm
the-
speaking general.
General
terms.
terms. As in
Yes,
so
in
general
general terms.
means what?
General means, I mean,
All of us accepting it?
all things being equal. I mean, it's okay. Is it, for instance,
so
do Ghanaians love
like
football?
music.
Hold on. Do Ghanaians love football?
Yes.
Would all say yes.
Yes.
Do Ghanaians love music?
Music.
Would say yes.
Generality.
Yes.
Yes.
But in my house, I can tell you for sure that though there's about 8 of us in my house, I'm the only one who watches football.
So the question that I would ask before Kwame comes in is this.
Yeah.
Music is a mass product in Ghanaian setting. Movies are a mass product in Ghanaian setting. Ballet dancing is not a mass product.
No, it is not at all.
It's a niche product.
Yes, it is.
The same vein, if somebody came to do opera in Ghana singing Pavarotti, it would be a niche play. That same vein, my belief is that theater might straddle between niche play and semi-mass. It's not really mass. So that's why if you ask me the question, do Ghanaians... So
Then the question then should change to how, in your opinion, do you think theater should be packaged for it to
the mass,
appeal
to the
the
there we go.
masses?
Then I'm ready to
Yes.
listen. Yes.
Okay. I am fortunate that with your having skewed or rephrased the question,
Yeah.
I am still. I think I have something to say. You know. I'm very fortunate. George, I think theater is primarily the act of bringing to life the art of storytelling.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, with storytelling, you'd have to ask the people or the expected respondents that, or you'd have to examine them from that standpoint where you yourself would ask yourself, who are these people? When you look at this generation of millennials and a little outside that bracket of millennials, how have we been introduced or have we inculcated that habit of appreciating the role of storytelling in our art or creative art space, for instance, before you go out to the larger audience of an entire nation? Now, after, let's say, By the Fireside
That regime.
fizzled out,
Yeah.
as a people, what did the mass media or what did artists introduce to potential customers or subscribers with regards to sustaining that energy that or that void that By the Fireside, for instance, was filling. Because By the Fireside had transposed from that bit of our culture where we sat by the fire, or when on vacations we as kids, when there was lights out,
gather as a family
and then
and
told
as one.
Toli
Yeah,
and all them kind
exactly.
of things.
Totally, yes.
So
And it made it mass.
it made
It
it
was on
mass.
TV.
Yes.
So again, how did
Okay.
we as a people sustain that demand and supply bit of art?
Okay.
Let alone get to where today, if it is repackaged the way Latif Dems are doing, it would provoke that expected response that in answering the question we could say that, oh, Ghanaians love theater or not. So I think that the crux of it is our inability to have sustained over eras or generations that bit of our culture. Because if it is not embedded in our culture, if it is introduced as a new thing, or it looks like, if it seems like a new thing, then naturally there is some bit of lack of appreciation, or if it has not been sustained with the right features to make it attractive, then we'll have a today where he yields the harvest that he has recorded by the number of subscribers and those who are interested or not. So I think that in a nutshell, if we really want to give a response or an answer to the question you posed, would have to look at ourselves and ask ourselves whether, for instance, in football, which is a main feature of our culture, you could say that from 91, the Starlets 91 up until now, when you look at the way we've not been successful in youth tournaments alone, you can...
We haven't sustained it.
we haven't. There's been a chasm between the succession or successive triumphs and when Coast football died, and as a result, juvenile football was not yielding like the early 90s. So there's a science to why we are where we are until Anklebo and then Chief Moomin and then you popped on the scene. And we are still lacking with regards to your kind. People who donate the man hours, the sacrifices to say that we are dramatists, we are theater people, and again at the top.
Hold on, Rasta, you've broken my heart. Latif, what's your background? Sorry, not to.
worries.
What's your background?
Science.
Science.
Yes.
Let us go a bit further into it. Science, from which institution? What did
Okay,
you study?
So I'm a disappointed medical student,
Okay.
and I read animal biology at the end of the day at
Okay.
University of Ghana,
Okay.
and then currently I'm a project management consultant. So my master's.
So wait, you have not connected with any theater, no school of performing arts, no, nothing.
No.
Neither has Uncle Ebo.
It's a hobby and the interest, the passion.
I
So that's
cut
what-
Rasta
hold on.
because
What of Chief Moomin?
yeah, we'll talk to him. Is he still on the line? Yes,
No,
we'll
he's
go
like
there.
he's like
Yes.
theater arts.
Yes,
trained.
he has theater background.
He's from your stock?
Yes, he's from my stock.
Okay.
But I went there because of what Rasta said, that there aren't people who have made it their core, commitment to ensure that they churn out theater products. So the School of Performing Arts, where I trained, I had a lot of classmates, a lot of people that I graduated with, a lot of people who are supposed to be doing these. So where are they?
No, don't say where are we?
Oh no, at least I'm here. Oh, Rasta, where are they?
They are in the banks and they are all over. I mean, the last time I was citing this example to a friend that most of our brilliant science and maths quiz, then the contestants.
Yeah,
Me, I don't know any Ghanaian inventor.
yeah.
Now, these are science students who are top of their game. But believe you me, and Joy FM can take it up, most of the quality that were leading, the science quiz have ended up inventing various types of bitters in our breweries. And they are okay. That's how far their scientism took them into inventing beaters. They are all over them. You see them. You see some of your senior people they either ECG or they do quaff. You understand? So there's you, when you look at the theater, situation, most of the girls we went visiting at Legon. You see, said
You know,
they
he
get
almost
time.
said it, eh?
You understand?
What? He almost said it.
Listen, most of the sister we used to go visit.
Yeah.
You say if you people where you get time for your course, you go do. So when it comes to whole week celebrations, if you
Yeah.
and then when it comes to listen, all the girls have ended up being caterers, most of them, because there is no proper channels that or routes that you could transition from a theater art student to mainstream. And I was just coming to it that if leadership should appreciate the dearth or the lack of enthusiasm or incentives to protect these artists who at their most core, at their most vulnerable selves, are artists who could preserve our heritage. I mean, everything could be found in theater and its projection and to a larger extent tourism.
So, a core problem has been established right here. There are no attractive opportunities out there for people to practice theater. Outside, or even in South Africa, you go to the West End theaters and other places, there are performances on a daily basis.
Oh, yes.
Every day. Umoja, for instance, performs every day.
Yeah.
You know, and they have various groups that perform it because some will travel, some will go and do it here, but they ensure that the one at home happens every single day.
Yeah.
How do we not have such experiences in Ghana? I mean, don't we have a national theater?
So it goes back to the major challenge, if that is addressed,
Which
in
is?
terms of the fact that what's the name? He was talking about
Jesse, yeah.
theater being either between the niche or the semi-masses.
Yeah.
We need to move away from that kind of scale to the masses. Because if you are comparing it to the Paris, to the London, to the SAs, it's because in those countries, theater is a mass service. It's a mass product. You understand? So if you advertise, you have so many people who have actually experienced theater before, who understands theater, who knows what theater is really about. So out of, let's say, 1 million people in London, you have about 1 million people who really understand theater. And so if they see an advert, they know what they are going in for. But when you come back to Ghana, you have, the ratio will be, let's say, 1:10. So 10% of people, so let's say 100,000. So out of the 100,000, you need to now convince a few out of the 100,000 to the theaters. It's difficult convincing people within a smaller group compared to having a wider mass group to convince to come to the theater.
Concept of drinking from the river instead of drinking from a teacup, huh? Let me go to the phone lines and speak to Chief Moment. Hello?
Hey, I'm watching. And all of you in the studio.
My brother, the name is George Quaye. Don't be silly. The name is George Quaye.
I wanted to troll you a little bit. And, good evening to everyone, to my good friend Najib, to Rasta, and of course to the business mogul.
Everybody responds, my brother. Chief, before we get into it, tell us, what is your background?
Well, so I'm a poet and playwright. I studied English and theater art at the University of Ghana. So my background actually is theater.
So your background is theater.
Yeah, so literature and theater.
Literature and theater. That is good. Okay, you are a son of the craft, if I can put it that way, right?
Absolutely.
So tell us, how come you're not...
Are you sure? I mean, we did work with the activity from 2015 to 2018. And then
your line is breaking a bit. Could you position yourself properly?
hello, can you hear me?
If possible, look, if you can possibly climb a tree or something.
Actually,
Yeah, I think it's better now. Yes, you were telling us about Ogbejeke.
No, so actually I did work with Jackie actively for 4 years, actually. And it was a wonderful, stressful, and costly experience. decided to take my time and learn the lesson.
Hello? Chief, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, your line keeps breaking. So,
Sorry.
somebody would like to know on a daily basis, when Chief Moment wakes up in the morning and leaves his home and says, I'm going to work, where do you go and what do you do?
So if you look at it at that sense, I mean, I'm not employed formally because I've spent all my time, actually for the past 2 years now, working on my next production. So it's about writing proposals, trying to talk to people, sending emails, visiting offices. So for 2 years now, that's what I've been doing. So I mean, I can confidently say that I've not really earned any serious income for the past 2 years. I don't know what's happened. So I am one of the unemployed, if you like, people out there because I haven't taken any other formal employment because I believe in the vision I'm working towards, and I feel I have to kill myself for it, in quotes, and that's what I've been doing.
So, in summary, you're saying that theater does not pay. Would you say it's not worth something you would advise anyone to go into?
I mean, I wouldn't say that. You have to know yourself. For me, I know the vision I'm working towards. I think that it's going to pay for me and it's going to pay big time. I think that I'm going to produce one of the most, I think maybe one, I'm going to produce the biggest theatrical product to ever come out of Africa for the
Amen.
world market. So it is worth the sacrifices that I've had to go through to best that. So for me, I see the bigger picture and I see the light at the end of the tunnel. So for me, I know it will pay for me. But for others, unless you are a fanatic for your vision as much as I am, if you are just looking for a regular job in the theater industry, then because we haven't been such a big industry in Ghana, it may not be worth enough of your time. But if you're on the other end like me, who's a producer and of course a writer, and you want to build something of your own, and you are willing to sacrifice your time, and you actually have a strategy, then why not? Great visions come with great sacrifice.
Let me ask a leading question, and when we are done, I'll bring the same to the studio. When you look at a school of performing arts where technically you perform and rehearse in the rain, in the hot sun, and nobody really cares because government past and present 17 or 20 years ago tried to put up a new auditorium and technically just abandoned it, left it to rot, and still students are unable to rehearse and do whatever they need to do just when the weather changes. You look at a certain national theater of Ghana, which is crying for renovation and some level of attention. Would you say that our problems in the creative space comes from the government?
I mean, these days, I usually don't like to focus on governments. I think that our governments in Ghana and across Africa are overwhelmed. And usually, when it comes to issues like this, they will not have the presence of attention and the dedication it needs to be able to build such things. So I think it's up to individuals and the elites in societies to transform society through the art. I don't think governments are capable, especially governments in our part of the world. And if you look at the issue of the world, it's really preference. People who have individuals who have put their money in the art. So you go to the United States, Art Foundation, theaters, Carnegie, there's so many theaters, right, and invested in the art. So what we need as a society in Africa is for people of wealth to understand that wealth is not just the number of houses you have or the number of cars you have, but how you're able to impact the generation by investing in these things that you may not get government money into. So some of us have made it upon ourselves that when we make money, which we will, inshallah, instead of buying luxurious apartments all over the place, maybe one or two is okay, we would rather invest in these areas. And not just as charity, but also as business. Because Africa's cultural industry holds a lot of gold. If we have people with the right mindset and vision to invest in it, it will. So I would say that what we need in Africa are just patrons. Patrons who understand the role of art in building the confidence and consciousness of people and are willing to invest in it. So I don't really think that the government will ever be up to the task. Government can play its role in creating an enabling environment, in making it easier, but ultimately what we need in Africa, in Ghana, are champions, and we don't have enough of that.
My brother, thank you very much. Point well made. For him, it's patrons that we need. Gentlemen, before I come back to you, before I come back to the studio, I'm going to go back to the telephone lines and speak to the executive director of the National Theatre of Ghana, my own sweetheart, Auntie Amy. Hello? Hello? Hello. All right, we'll try to raise Auntie Amy on the phone lines, but let me come back to the studios. Jesse, I'm gonna pose the same question, and I left Legon around 2004. At the time that I was about leaving, they were about to put up a new structure. I think that was President Kufuor's era. They were just about to put up a new structure, a theater auditorium. Let's see if you're aware about. You're aware of this.
Yeah.
It's been almost 20 years. Oh, okay. All right. I understand we have Auntie Amy now. Hello.
Hello.
Auntie Amy, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm well, and you?
God is good. We're doing very well. Welcome to Showbiz A to Z and to Joy 99.7 FM. We're just having a conversation on the development of theater in Ghana. We're looking at the problems, the prospects, the challenges, everything. And I know you have a lot of experience when it comes to theater development. I mean, you've been in the States, you've worked with a number of institutions there, you've trained there, and all those things. You've attended a number of conferences related to theater and art in Ghana, and you lead the National Theater. If I asked you to enumerate about three, let me make it four problems confronting the theater space in Ghana, what would they be? And this isn't political. Okay. This is for all of us to help develop it.
Sure. Well, let me begin by, I've been listening to parts of the conversation, and one of the things that actually you mentioned that struck out to me was about the audience awareness of theater and whether theater is for like the masses or not. I think that one of the assumptions people make is that there's one kind of theater for everyone. There's several kinds, and there are different audiences. Some pieces will appeal to some will not appeal to others. In terms of, so one of the things that came to mind was you're talking about theater and the masses and whatever, but whether people like classical music or not, or it's just classical theater or not. And I was just thinking about the Sunday Jazz Festival that were happening. That was uniquely set aside for a certain group of people.
Yeah.
And those people appreciate that kind of music. So when we talk about theater, we need to look at what is the audience for each production, rather than thinking about it in a very broad term. When it comes to the National Theater, I think that what happened was there was a structure that was developed at the beginning when the theater was new. So if you look at the organogram for the theater, for instance, it hasn't changed. It stayed the same. But when the theater was new, it was different. You didn't have to go out and market your productions, for instance, because everybody wanted to be in the new building. So whatever you put in there, people would come to it. But if you want to grow as a theater, you need to constantly look at your structure and keep changing to reflect where you are in your development. Currently, the National Theater, for instance, doesn't have a communications department. And in this day and era, how do you function in theater without a communications department? I also think that one of the things that happens is people feel that National Theater is a space. But National Theater is an embodiment of a country's culture. So it is not just about the performances that happen over there, but the type of performances. When you go to other jurisdictions, it's a privilege to actually step on that stage. Because when you go there, you want to present the very best. It's not because you have the production, you're able to pay for the space that you go in there and you put on your performance. When you actually perform at a National Theater, it's like a crown. It's a seal on your production that, yes, you've landed. Your work is at a certain quality. So that culture also needs to. Then we have the thinking that actually established the National Theatre, which created the resident group. And it was done to project a certain kind of theatre, which is a Bibigro concept, that if one called for years, have been fighting for that concept. And that concept was about looking at our form through our own unique African lenses and not judging us with European standards. And so they set up those three groups with a mandate to develop and promote the performing arts, uniquely Ghanaian. So even our dancers, our music should all recognize the value of our traditional art forms. And those things are kind of hard to sell these days because a lot of, especially, I won't even say younger people, but a lot of those things to be modern, to be contemporary, you have to ignore all the traditions. And the people who work have not looked at the balance. How do we do it? How do we treat our tradition so it's sexy enough to bring everyone on board? When I talk to this, if I talk about, for instance, our engagements in Ghana.
No, before, Jamie, hold on. Before we go there,
on.
you've mentioned a lot that need solid packaging and selling. I mean, this idea of the National Theatre not just being a space, but an embodiment of our culture as a people and all that. But some would also argue that even beyond that, it is still a space that hosts a lot of other activities and other. But I'm sure you're looking at it in the broader picture. If all these need to be sold and government knew this from the beginning, is it that you don't have a communication department? It's something you haven't had recently, or it's something that hasn't been there from day one?
The organogram, it is not there. So, unfortunately for me, I don't know the history, so I can't tell you if it hasn't been there from day one. But the current organogram does not make provision for a communications department or staff, communication staff.
I asked because even before we came into the studio, we were having conversations, and I was telling some of my colleagues about the productions that I know the National Theatre champions. I even know there's one coming up sometime later this year called Ayi. Next week called Ayi, and there's going to be a performance next week, and nobody knows about this. Latif Abubakar is having a play. Latif, when is that happening? Next weekend?
No. Second
of September.
Yeah.
And it's almost everywhere. Uncle Ibo White is going to have a play, and it's almost everywhere. And Uncle Ibo White's plays are in the National Theatre. And the National Theatre has its own production, and nobody knows about it.
Yes. And that is why I'm telling you the challenge is having a communications department.
Yeah.
Someone that we can work with to get the word out. And there's also the perception that National Theatre is funded by government. So when we go to sponsors, there's a case that we need to make that we're not making well. And so we're not getting sponsors on board. And
So
we don't generate enough ideas to be able to take that on.
I like that.
If we had a good communications department, there will be a plan on how we can get beyond the hurdle.
Auntie Amy, this communication department issue, is it that the National Theatre has not been able to find the person, or the structure to get into place to get the person there? Where exactly is the bottleneck, or is it finance related? Is it money?
We are a state institution, so you don't just bring people on. There's a process you need to go through and finally get financial clearance before you can bring someone on.
So what is that process, and how long has it taken, or how long? We want to understand if there is anything we can do as the Fourth Estate to help you get a solution to this problem, because it looks like it's been quite long. So what really is the bottleneck there?
Right now, the first thing we need to do is to get a board in place, which we don't. We started the process with the last board, but you didn't get anywhere. So it's up to the new board to take it up. But you apply for, and really what the last board wanted to do was to take another look at the organogram and change it so that we can, with Public Services Commission, they can give us permission to recruit the people that we really need in this day and age to do the work that we need to do.
Very interesting. And Amy, we're not going to track this. What I'll do is that we need to continue this conversation, but we are going to come to the studio. I'll speak to my gentleman in the studio. Please stay by your radio for us. We'll try to raise you again before we end the show. Okay?
Okay.
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much. You. And that is the executive director of the National Theatre of Ghana. Jesse, you had a conversation. Look, and for me, when I combine some of these things, sorry, Jesse, before I come to you, Latif, I notice a lot of your plays you don't use the National Theatre. Why?
Okay, so we're looking for a cost-effective way of producing plays. Because one of the major challenges with regards to theatre is finance. And you realize that the National Theatre is quite expensive. So for us as Globe, we look out for alternative venues that can come into partnership with us in the form of sponsorship. And then we do our plays there. The cost of production with regards to stage plays is extremely high. So if you're able to cut off the venue cost, then you are getting closer towards making profit. So it's one of the strategies we devised to look out for spaces that are neat, good, suitable, and then look at how best we could convince the people to come on board as partners or sponsors so that we don't pay and we're able to execute our play successfully.
I noticed some time ago you used the conference center.
Oh, I used the conference center for about 4 years.
And I know conference center is more expensive than National Theatre.
Okay, so no. When I switched from National Theatre to conference center, at that time, conference center was lower than National Theatre.
Hold the thought. Let me say goodbye to our viewers on Joy Prime Television. Thank you so very much for being a part of our show today. The show continues right here on Joy 99.7 FM. It's Showbiz A to Z, and we've got one more conversation coming up. Where are the cars that belong to the Ministry of Tourism? Stay on. We're coming back. Don't worry. Or you can just switch over. If you still want to see us, go to myjoyonline.com, or you can go to Facebook, look for Joy 99.7 FM, hashtag Showbiz A to Z, and the show is going to be right on. But you can still listen to us live on Joy 99.7 FM. Thank you. Latif, yes, you were talking about your switch from National Theatre to Conference Center.
So we are in an agile world, and you need to plan as you move at every stage and every step. What we do at Globe is always backed by research. We move around to see the best option that we have at any point in time. At that time that we switched from National Theatre to Conference Center, National Theatre, Conference Center was lower.
Wow.
Yes. And a lot of people didn't know, especially for theatre. The cost for theatre, if you're going to do theatre performance, because it wasn't a musical and doesn't consume a lot of electricity, the cost for theatre performance was low at the conference center. So I switched quickly.
Interesting.
So that's how come you realize that we did conference center for 4 good years.
Interesting. Anyway, let me go back to Jesse. I mean, we were talking. I want to put the problem at the doorstep of government. And I'll tell you why.
Government in this case includes National Theatre.
Includes National Theatre, exactly. Because
So you're speaking about National Theatre?
yes, and you see, I don't want to use the word.
Sorry, George, I want to
Go
ahead. Are you saying that you want to put the blame at the doorstep of a state institution?
No, not a
Or you
state
want to put
institution.
the
The
problem-
government apparatus itself. And not just this government, government past and present.
So let's make it specific, because government includes AMA.
The government of Ghana. The leadership. Or maybe, should we...
National Theatre.
National Theatre.
No, you see, for me, if you situate it, then we can have the conversation, because
Easily.
now we now need to go and add chief of staff.
It
and
is hard
add-
to situate it because for me, it is beyond the National Theatre as an edifice or
Okay.
as a representative of our culture. It goes to the School of Performing Arts. There's an abundant theatre auditorium there, and students are rehearsing in the rain.
Okay, and
Am I telling a lie?
The performing arts school is still under government. That's what you're saying.
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's talk.
You understand? Has our problems generally, have we abandoned theatre in this country from governments past and present?
So George, I think that the idea of theatres are still very important. Look, to be fair, I have friends who have signed up for Uncle Ibo's plays
Yes.
and done fantastically well. Latif here also sends out, asking for people to step up to come and act.
Yeah.
So the interest is there. Whether the interest is niche or not, George, the interest is there. The problem is not whether people are writing or not writing. And the reason I felt like answering this question is I wanted to go back to what she said.
Yeah.
She said they have a budgetary constraint. The only way to solve this is to ask you in the industry, you who went to the School of Performing Arts, what are you doing to support it? Let's be very clear. Some of the guys who are writing the best advertising concepts today are creative minds.
Yeah, they are.
Some of them are from the School of
Performing Arts.
Performing
Yeah,
Arts.
a lot of them actually.
Some of the fantastic light engineers are from the same school.
And Nufty.
So I think the ecosystem still exists. The only thing is that maybe the products are not coming enough. So do you want to help the National Theatre? If she says that her biggest constraint is budget now, you can do pro bono work. Find 2-3 of your friends. Go spend time there. George, guys, go spend 1 week at the National Theatre. Sit down with the National Theatre. Contribute a quota into it. It's not every time you need to go to church and go and pay tithe. But go to the National Theatre and go pay, black tie.
Yeah.
Say you, Kwame Rasta,
Jesse Amwe Japan.
go there. Just go help. Sit down there and say, what's your roadmap like? Our roadmap has A, B, C, D. How do we put this thing that she's saying now that the National Theatre is not a physical structure? It's an embodiment of our
culture.
theatre as a country.
Yeah.
This interpretation must be produced and told.
Exactly.
So if they don't have the budget, look, government is tight across board. George, go sacrifice and get a job done.
But Jesse, you also heard her say clearly
Yes.
that we are a government institution.
Yes.
As a Joy FM can welcome $1 million from
Latif.
Latif,
Yes.
and say, okay, Latif has donated $1 million to Joy FM to change all the equipment that they have.
Agreed.
National Theatre cannot just accept $1 million from Jesse Japan.
Oh.
She'll tell you it has to go through a process.
No,
yes.
hold on.
That is a government institution.
Hold on. I could be wrong. But funding for state institutions could either be an IGF or it might be coming from the big bucket. If it's an IGF, they generate the funds themselves. So if Latif goes there to go do a play and they say they're charging him 10,000 Ghana cedis, it didn't come from Ken Oforiatta.
No, it didn't.
It came from him. It's an IGF.
Yes.
Now, later we'll be speaking about the tourism ministry.
That's IGF will be Instagram food or
Internally
The
generated
funds
fund.
they generate internally.
Internally
I'm
generated.
so sorry. I'm sorry. So George, I'm saying that if today we say, as an example, we're sending an appeal from the National Theatre.
Yeah.
Anybody doing a play at the National Theatre, because we need to fix ABCD, we are asking you for a 10% incremental. That's an example. I don't know. Or National Theatre says, we need help. Come support us do ABCD. And we are calling on all students of ABCD, blah, blah, come and support. Do you honestly think that Theresa Yowade in Charterhouse cannot go to the National Theatre's aid to help donate 10,000 Ghana cedis a year? Are you saying to me that if they go to MTN to go and ask for support for all the shaggy shows that were done there, MTN will say, we won't give you, or we can't support you with 20,000 Ghana cedis a year? This boy that we all bought cake for, the nice boy, what's his name? Oswald, celebrated across board. And I'm saying that you guys should go back, build a solid campaign on what you need to do to support the National Theatre, and support them. And I feel if you do that, she doesn't have to constrain herself with going to Kanoforiata to go and look for a budget, because she doesn't have. But your activities can turn the place around. So for me, the solution is with you. Go and help.
Latif, what do you think about what Jesse is saying? Is it that simple that we can just get up and say we want to go and help?
It's not simple. The guy's here.
It's not that simple.
Why? Why is it not that simple?
You know that reaching out to corporate organizations and then trying to, no matter how good your product
No,
is.
Latif, not the sponsorship.
Yeah. No.
The baseline is going there to understand what they need. She said her first problem is communicating what they are doing.
Yes.
And I'm saying you are a creative mind.
Oh, that
you've got camera.
That is something Image Brew can easily take up.
Yes.
And then we can do
Yes.
that. So no problem.
Yeah.
But the
But we're talking
problems at
about
the theater go beyond that.
that.
Yes. Once Image Bureau turns around the image of the National Theatre and starts telling the story right, it would get the attention of potential people who have money, who would bring the money to National Theatre. So it still starts with the bureau, the image.
Is that something you agree to,
I
Latif?
agree. Yes, that I agree.
Okay.
But then it's not that easy because looking at Globe, we also had such problem way back. We did exactly what
Jesse is saying.
JC is saying.
Okay.
We did that because
You mean you supported the theatre?
No,
Okay.
in terms of for our brand, we did exactly that.
Okay,
because
okay,
we
okay.
consulted people like him.
Okay.
In 2015, 2016,
Yes.
I met him and some other colleagues
Yeah.
on how best we can build the
And position
image
your
of
brand.
Globe.
Are you
Okay.
citing an example or you actually met
No,
him?
we
No,
met
no,
him.
they actually met. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
we sat with him.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
want to be clear now.
Oh yeah. He's part of the people who actually helped build the
Yes,
Globe
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
brand.
Oh,
So
okay.
Shall I know bad for this town? I try. When they build a statue for me or something for me, now I'm telling you.
So, through the help of these experts, led by Jesse, we were able to build an image for Globe. And that actually yield results, and it's yielding results. That is the reason why now when we are doing shows, we can get a full house, because we built a correct image. But then, I keep saying, it doesn't end there. It doesn't end there because if you are not consistent with regards to the brand and image building process, and then you are unable to translate that process into what? Generating money. So there's a gap. You can build a brand, you can have a good brand. If you don't have the right people to translate it into money, you will be stuck. And then you go back to square zero.
Zero.
So it is the ability to transfer that image right to make money. That is actually one of the most difficult aspects of brand building. How do you translate it in making money? It's extremely difficult. That is why if you speak to people like Ebo White who have been in the scene, they'll still tell you that one of the biggest challenge, even though he has the brand equity, he has that image and so on and so forth, is how to secure sponsorship.
Rasta, we need to bring this conversation. There's another important conversation we need to delve into. So, going back to the broader theatre conversation, how can we make it enticing for that young graduate coming out of the School of Performing Arts to boldly say, okay, when I come out of school, I'm picking my bag and I'm going to produce plays for Ghanaians to watch? Because as it is now, they're all running, like you rightly said, into the banks, into some are even becoming pastors. I mean,
The smarter ones.
yeah, well, they are running into all other places except the theatre. So how can we make it appealing and exciting enough for them to want to pursue?
I think we had this house had the distinguished honor of hosting Madam Director of I always forget her name. The one you just spoke with.
Yes, Auntie Amy.
Amy.
Yeah.
Auntie Amy here in this house, and everything that she's poured out,
Yeah.
it's almost as if we having a flashback. That was then. The board chairman Nana Fredia, I don't know if he's been retained. No. Yes, he's the board chairman, and then people like Penyin Kofi Ejekum them sit on the National Theatre Board
Yeah.
with Prince Chega hovering around in some capacity. Now, I don't know what to say that has yet to be said, because it looks simple how the National Theatre Company of Ghana can secure its perch in the art space, because quite clearly it doesn't look good and it doesn't augur well for us all. But how to make it attractive? I think the leadership, as in state government, needs to make serious sacrifices. It boils down to money, cash injection. Because believe you me, I've been that close. I know how smart those folks are. Jesse, you said something of, I don't know if you would want to, whether you were playing or you didn't mean it, but I heard you say.
Hey, you.
I heard you say that, and it's because I'm biased towards your participation or volunteering, that you said if they don't have that capacity.
Okay.
Then let's move forward.
Okay, so again, I would have been super excited if you meant it.
I can flip it around.
Hold on, don't.
I
Don't,
can
don't
flip
yet,
it and
yet.
say,
Hold on.
George.
Oh, hold on. So what it is Hammer of the last two was invited to serve in a certain capacity by the board and management, including Madam Amy.
Yeah.
And then he dragged me along. So eventually I was also appointed. And then...
You served on the board?
No, that's far.
On a committee level, okay.
Yeah, no, down there. So when it got to where I was appointed, like, serious matter, coat of arms, everything did there. So when I got home, I was so excited. And then I read the letter. And then... George.
Go ahead. And you read the letter and what happened?
You see, let me put it nicely. Like, they didn't have money to pay me for anything. So, when I wake up and I think of them...
But George, let's go and do it at zero.
No,
at zero,
see,
we'll do it.
yeah,
This way.
So Jesse, if you want to go,
at zero,
there's
we'll do it.
too much
We'll do it.
space there.
We'll do it.
As
We'll do
if
it.
we're bringing our conversation to a close.
Yeah.
We have barely scratched the surface of this conversation. We'll have to find time to continue. But when is the play happening?
On the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of September
Where?
at Labadi Beach Hotel.
Labadi Beach Hotel.
It's an open air theater.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful experience. Trust
Okay.
me. Yeah. So
Wow.
we are not actually going to have people in an auditorium.
But what if it rains?
Don't worry, it's catered for. It's
Oh,
part of
okay.
the experience. It's part of the
Nice.
experience. We take
Nice.
risks. It will happen. And it's
Nice.
catered for. We've prepared towards the way too as well, and then towards COVID-19 protocols.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to be going into our next conversation, and let me quickly read this one. A former Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture under the Akufo-Addo administration, Catherine Afeku, and other government officials at the ministry have been cited by the Auditor General's report for misapplying state resources. The Auditor General's report for the period ended December 31st, 2020 states that an amount of let me get the figure right. 387,196 Ghana cedis meant for the Marine Drive Development Project was misapplied. In contravention of Section 7 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016 Act 921, we noted that funds meant for the Marine Drive project amounting to 387,196 Ghana cedis were misapplied for the celebration of Afrima, Kundum Festival, and other activities, it states. After the break, we are going into this conversation. Stay on.
Classical music made by Bach, express God's love. Classical music made by Beethoven, express God's power. Classical music made by Mozart, express God's laughter. Please join Jeffrey every Thursday and Sunday, 12 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. to enjoy the very best of classical music by legendary composers here on Joy 99.7 FM.
Hello, Benita. So, I was just at home when Kojo texted saying we should go out. He came in his Mercedes and took me to the beach. Oh, Benita.
And then what happened?
It was just us on the beach. He held my hands and looked deep into my eyes. I felt shivers go down my spine. It was incredible.
Oh, yeah, me, I just want to hear the end of the story before your credit finishes. So,
Me? I'm on MTN Sunday Special, oh. With just 50 pesos, I can talk from now till 6 p.m. And with 1 Ghana cedi, it's till midnight, oh.
really? And then continue.
So he came closer and closer, and then he brought out a 6-carat diamond ring, and he said, "Ifya, will you marry me?"
Let the filler flow with MTN Sunday Special. Pick a plan and enjoy non-stop talking, texting, and browsing all day long on Sundays. Dial *550# to sign up today.
Let's go. MTN, everywhere you go. Hello. Oh, Charlie, how be? Bro, I need some help. Right, my money all finished. And month no end, so I make hot pass. I fit see some small loan for your side, I beg.
Oh, bro, me cry, Charlie. I make hot pass you. My landlord today can't take your rent.
Oh, Charlie. All right, you make a call another person. Hello. Oh, Charlie, I need some help. Oh. Right, my money all finished. And month no end. So I make hot pass. So you see, I feel. Oh.
The number you are trying to reach is not available. Please call back later.
Hey, Adane. Kelvin. Yes. You make hot. Charlie. Rough.
So make today payday with Cowbank Salary Advance. Get an advance of up to 80% of your net monthly salary before payday. Just visit the nearest Cowbank branch or you can call our toll-free number on 0800 500 500 to find out how you can apply today.
Cowbank, forward together.
Do you need a deeper understanding to things taught in your senior high school? Joy Learning SHSR is here to solve all your academic challenges. Our SHS lessons on Joy Learning is back with more exciting and award-winning TV teachers. Dear students, in the comfort of your homes, we bring you a new classroom experience. We are going to take our time to take you through all the syllabus from A to Z.
Literature inspires you, teaches and educates. Of course.
What will this world look like without numbers?
And you see the watch seller who has set up her watch and is selling to you, you have definitely met
debt. The B is not pronounced.
But we don't have the money to do so.
We can also talk about specific solutions.
Where people do what they want and the fittest survives.
You would not have a personal identification number.
Divided by 100 times 65,000.
Catch your favorite TV teachers as they bring you senior high school up from Monday to Friday. SHS 1 lesson starts from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. And from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., we'll bring you SHS 2 lessons only on Joy Learning. Joy Learning, celebrating a year of impactful teaching and learning. Joy Learning. Keep learning.
Are you ready? Be one of the 3 contestants vying to chip away part of the massive 250,000 Ghana Cedi prize money from the Boss in the Boss TV game show. Dial star 718 star 882 hash on MTN, Vodafone, Airtel Tigo, or simply dial star 422 hash and select G Money across all networks and follow the prompts to enter. Top entries for the week qualify to come to the studio to meet the Boss. Win weekly prizes of TV sets, home theaters, mobile phones, and the grand prize of the all-new Peugeot pickup. The Boss TV game show is proudly brought to you by G Money from GCB Bank, G Money, Papa Naba, Tratum, and supported by Silver Star Auto Limited, sole agents for Peugeot, Graphic News Plus, and DDP, regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana.
Because we're flying high with the biggest entertainment show south of the Sahara. It's Showbiz A to Z. GQ's in the seat.
It's Showbiz A to Z.
I love this station. Obia nene movement. Here's one of the songs I'll love to hear as a collar ring back tone. Movement from Samini. One of my all-time favorites from the man Samini. Now just imagine listening to good music from your favorite artists. The MTN collar ring back tone catalogs over 16,000 songs ranging from top songs in all the genres. They've got hip life, high life, gospel, reggae, R&B, hip hop, with 2,000 plus different artists from Ghana and beyond. This week's top 5 songs on Collar Tunes, I Can Promise a Slowdown, which you can download via USSD. Just dial star 1355 star 226 hash. Kwame Eugene's Dollar on You, star 1355 star 142 hash. Joe Medals or 118 star 1355 star 140 hash. Kwame's Praise star 1355 star 155 hash. Mr. Drew's Mood star 1355 star 26 hash. Enjoy soothing music while you wait to be connected to that all-important call. Dial *1355# and follow the menu for details. Press the *1 button anytime to enable you copy that song and stay connected. Only on MTN, everywhere you go. Now, Joy Prime presents a new series, Love and Wealth. It is a task of choosing between love and wealth and also gives viewers the opportunity to learn about sexual health. A unique Venezuelan telenovela will tell the story of two daughters of a rich billionaire who are presented with the task of choosing between love and wealth. Watch as the rich and beautiful Zara and her daughters navigate these critical options and all in a bid to make the best choice for themselves. Come along on this journey of the ever-captivating drama and intriguing suspense in all the all-new series, Love and Wealth. Don't miss out on the thrills and excitement. Love and Wealth shows Tuesday to Fridays at 5:30 p.m. Only on Joy Prime. Keep watching Joy Prime. So before the break, I was telling you about the Auditor General's report, which has revealed that funds meant for the Marine Drive Development Project were misapplied by the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture under the leadership of Catherine Afeku. I'm going to go straight to the telephone lines, and I'm going to be speaking to Mr. Alexander Akwesi Akwa, who's Vice Chairperson for Trade, Industry and Tourism Committee. Yes, hello, sir.
Hello, my brother.
Good evening. How are you doing? And welcome to Showbiz A to Z.
Good evening, George. Thank you for having me.
It's an honor. First, have you cited this report from the Auditor General's department?
Yes, I have seen the report, but I haven't applied myself to the details. Just that I've been following the discussion. It's been all over, and so as an interested party, I've been following it.
What have you heard so far?
Well, I think that it's been said that some money is meant for the Marine Drive project worth 300,000 was misappropriated during the tenure of Honorable Catherine Afeku. And I find that to be a bit preposterous because at the end of the day, you know, you want to look at the amount of money allocated for the Marine Drive, and then it is reported as if the whole project, amount allocated to the whole project, is what has been misappropriated. You know, when we're talking about 300,000, which from the narratives and the kind of documentations I have cited, was used in a national cause.
I think the word that was used was misapplied. So it would be best we clarify that, not misappropriated.
I think so.
Yes.
I think so. But you have some reportage using misappropriation.
Okay, I think for the purpose of this conversation, let us stick to misapplied for the purpose of this conversation.
That's
yes,
fine.
And the report did intimate that in contravention of Section 7 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 9201, they noted funds meant for Marine Drive project amounting to 387,196. Are you saying that all these funds were not for the Marine Drive project per se?
No, I think that it would have been better if the auditors had given us the details to the fact that these monies were used for a national cause, even though it was withdrawn.
But the details provided show that an amount of 100,000 was paid to Palm Media Ghana Limited. That was for the launch of Afrima 2018, which was held from May 17th to May 19th. And then they also mentioned that 200,000 was released to support Kundum Festival, held from September 1st to 9th in 2018. And it also revealed that on March 7th, 2018, 13,296 was paid as an accountable imprest to the minister, that is Madam Catherine Afeku, to travel to the Western region on official assignment. And then there was a payment allowance of about 900 cedis for bid opening panel for procurement of vehicle on May 3rd, 2018. And it is all these funds that have been totaled to give us the 300 and
yes, I know that is what has culminated into this figure.
Exactly.
But the narrative should be that Honorable Catherine Afeku was in charge of tourism ministry. And under her ministry, under her watch, she decided to help grow festivals and other cultural practices that could actually promote our tourism. Because we look at tourism, a lot of times people want to skew it to particular interest, but there are very wide interests that needs to be promoted. And she was the person in charge of the Marine Drive project. In fact, I am aware that she was very instrumental in actually soliciting for the funding of this project. And so if all these programs, as narrated here, are programs that have been approved by cabinet, and her ministry was supposed to ensure their implementation, and funds were not readily available, and she could get into the Marine Drive project to promote these programs that have actually been, ordained sort of by cabinet and by government. What is the issue? Because at the end of the day, if it was that she used the money on herself, or she used it on some projects that cannot be accounted for, then we have an issue there. I can understand that the showbiz industry is interested in this one, but I felt we could go into details and see how these monies were utilized and find out whether it was actually used to promote tourism in general. And, in public accounting, we have something we call environments. At the end of the day, were there a replacement of this fund when these budgets were actually made available? These are the things we need to be looking at. Obviously, the Auditor General will make his report. It will bring out its findings. But the interpretation of it must be done in such a way that she is not vilified.
So, in effect, are you saying that, let me speak like a layperson, that it's justifiable, it is okay that she moved funds that had been assigned for the Marine Drive Development Project probably without any permit or whatever from anybody, used her power as a Minister of Tourism at the time to move state funds that had been set aside for the Marine Drive Development Project to celebrate Afrima and Kundum Festival? You're saying it was okay because they were tourism related?
For me, as a vice chair for the Tourism Committee in Parliament, which is a committee that is interested in promoting all sort of tourism activities, including festivals. But our festivals, as you know, are actually dying. We don't have anything to show for the kind of festivals that we used to celebrate, and then we could be proud of. Now that was a minister that decided to promote festivals. And the Kundum Festival is one that the people of Izima are so proud of. And so at the end of the day, she sought cabinet approval. At the end of the day, it was approved. She didn't unilaterally decide to sponsor that festival, but it was agreed to for government to give that sponsorship. But funding was not available. And for her as a minister then, with Marine Drive project, which was under her purview, which was under her supervision, funds were moved for these programs to be in place, for these programs to take off. And then later, when budgets were approved and funds were made available, it was placed back where they were. Certainly, I mean,
so you are saying the monies have been placed back in the Marine Drive account? It's been paid back into it. Is that what you're saying?
As far as I know. And so, like I'm saying, for the Auditor General would definitely want to make a statement of fact that funds were moved.
Because from the Auditor General's report, they said they were paid by the ministry, and they recommended that the Chief Director should ensure a refund from the operations account into the Marine Drive project, which presupposes that the monies have not been paid, as you're saying. Because if the monies have been paid, why is the Auditor General making that recommendation that the money should be paid back?
That as far as I know, but if the report continue to recommend a transfer of funds from the Ministry's operations account into the Marine Drive account. What it means is that these budgets were approved by government, and they were supposed to have come from the operations account of the ministry. I didn't work with the ministry. I've never worked with the ministry. But I know, and I have checked, that these projects or these festivals where the sponsorship went to were not done by her unilateral interest. It was something that it was approved as a government program, and she only executed it.
All right, sir. We would end it here, Mr. Alexander Quaye, Aqua Vice Chairperson. We are grateful for the enlightenment that you've brought to it, and we would all look into the refund bit to see as you're saying.
So, my brother,
yes.
I think the cardinal point is the fact that the auditors will definitely make mention. They will pinpoint the fact that these activities were sponsored by funds from the Marine Drive project. But at the end of the day, one we want to ask, were these festivals, were these programs approved? Or that is how come they couldn't perhaps use the word misappropriate, but perhaps misapplied. But if the recommendations that we have to move it from the Ministry's operations account into back the Marine Drive project, so be it.
So
but
you see,
I think that the
didn't...
kind of angle that this story is taking is making it look like this was a woman who needs to be crucified.
Oh, no, Mr. Kwesi, no, in all fairness, I don't think anybody.
No, it's not
in this industry.
It's not about your network.
No, I'm speaking for my colleagues in the industry. Look, we loved Catherine Afeku. She was one of the most dynamic ministers of tourism that we ever had, and we loved her. But here is the problem. Look, we know we're in a country where companies like MTN had been sponsoring festivals for years. So one might ask, why didn't Catherine use her office to approach an MTN to sponsor Kundum Festival? We all know Kundum is organized in the region where she came from, in her area. So should we say that she picked state funds to sponsor her own festival? Why not Homowo? Why not Hogbechocho? Why not Akwesidaya? Why not any other festival? These are some of the conversations that are teased.
For Catherine, but I'm sure that if she has stayed in office for so long, she would have put in place measures where all other festivals, including Ojura, celebrated in my backyard, would also have some kind of government sponsorship.
We'll end it here, sir. Thank you very much. We're
You're
grateful.
welcome, my brother.
Yes, and that was Alexander Quaye, Aqua Vice Chairperson, Trade Industry and Tourism Committee. Let me come to the studio so we can hear from my panel. Jesse.
George.
Yes, I don't know if you've also followed this.
I have.
You've read the Auditor General's report.
I've glanced through it.
Okay.
I'm not happy with you.
Your thoughts. Go ahead.
I'm not happy with you because you seem to be asking the questions hinged on the assumption that there has been a misappropriation.
No, not appropriation. Misapplication.
No, I get it.
Based on the report.
No, I get that. Because you looked shocked by almost everything that you've heard. So I want to first, just to make sure that you are not seen as, or whoever is speaking is not seen as an Nzema bigot.
Yeah.
I don't want us to make the conversation about the festival per se. One, does the Ministry of Tourism and Culture support festivals across the country?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Good. So it's not about, because I hear you say, okay, why is part of the investment not going for Homo and things like that? Almost every festival in this country, the state is interested in festivals across board.
True.
Classical example, did the Ministry of Tourism support Chaliwate?
They did.
Why did they support it? Because it's part of the ministry's mandate to help promote culture.
Mm-hmm.
And if festival is part of our culture, then it's important for the ministry to support. The only reason why we are talking about this today is because monies was moved from one line to another line.
Exactly.
If that hadn't happened, you would not be here telling me about 200,000 Ghana cedis.
Just, you know what's good? No, if that hadn't happened, we would have been here praising the ministry. It would have been good.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. So, in principle, let's separate the conversation of Nzema Kundum and accept the fact that Government of Ghana supports Panafest Festival.
True.
Good. Government of Ghana supports Chocolate Day.
True.
Government of Ghana supports Chaliwate. And Government of Ghana supports many festivals across board. So I don't want somebody listening to say that because Katrina Feku was an Nzima, she singled out a decision that had never happened before, and because she's an Nzima, she took money to Nzima land. That's wrong.
You have a point there.
Good. So let's go to number 2. Now, Akosia Jiman says that tourism contributes about 5% of our GDP or so. A key component of that figure is what we do around festivals.
Yeah.
So, George, let me walk you through some few things that also were captured in the medium-term expenditure framework of Ghana. 1, the ministry also supports SHS drama festivals that are organized in the schools.
True.
2, cultural exchange programs organized to promote Ghanaian culture and creative industry. So I'm starting from here because I need you to understand that from a general framework point of view, if you read the medium-term expenditure framework published and circulated by the Minister of Finance, you would realize that support for festivals is not exclusive to Nzima land, and it's wrong. Let's move on to the next one. George, Marine Drive. We're saying that an amount of X, George, are you here?
Yeah.
An amount of X has been moved from the Marine Drive account. I heard somebody say that, Sika yedibesi Marine Drive, no, and a Catherine Akoyi Ediakoma Nzima for. George, are you here?
I'm with you. I'm very much with you.
If you check the literature, the Marine Drive project is estimated to cost around $1.2 billion.
Yeah.
The money you are talking about now that Catherine moved, it's not capital expenditure per se to go and build the Marine Drive.
True.
So now, the person you were speaking to tried to point you to environment. And I want to tell you, I want to give you a classical example and then take you to what environment means. A father and a mother have 2 children at home. They have 3 lines of expenses: school fees, electricity, and water. Fees were supposed to be paid on Monday. On Sunday, the man has 2,000 Ghana cedis. On Sunday, the man's son gets sick. We need to make a decision. What does environment mean? Environment technically means that can I move part of the school fees to pay for the medical? Can I move part of the school fees to pay for electricity? So that when my husband brings me the money that's supposed to be used in paying for electricity, I would move it back into the place. Now, does the same Financial Management Act give us a cure for this movement? George, let me take you to this. Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. Are you here?
I'm with you. I'm very much with you.
1 says, the minister may, on the request of the principal spending officer, execute a environment in respect of an amount of money allocated to cover the entity of that principal spending officer. Now, George, let me jump forward. So technically, it's saying to you that if you have a budget line and there's no money for the budget line, but you have another budget line that has money for, you can request for environment and approval to move the money.
Right.
But there are some conditions. The condition says that you cannot move a capital expenditure line into a recurrent expenditure. You can only move a capital expenditure and via it to another capital expenditure line. Or you can move a recurrent expenditure line and via it to another recurrent expenditure line. Question, is festival a recurrent expenditure for the ministry? Yes. The money that was moved from the
Marine Drive.
The Marine Drive.
Yeah.
Was it for capital expenditure?
No.
No, it's not. So long as environment cures that problem you are speaking about, the Auditor General did not even say that the Chief Director should go and collect the monies from Katrina Feku. What did the Auditor General say?
That
it says that should be moved from the operations.
All these funds were paid by the Chief Director. We recommend that the Chief Director should ensure a refund from the operations account into the Marine Drive project account.
So what does that mean?
Failing which the amount should be recovered from the Chief Director.
No, I get that. No. So
hold on.
Hold on.
You see, okay, you've had you land quickly so that we can go into it. Yeah,
I'm saying to you that the Auditor General, in his wisdom, recognizes that the environment was done.
Yes.
And figures were moved from one to the other.
Yes.
The Auditor General is saying to you that this created a shortfall for the particular account from which the money was moved. So he's saying to you that so if the money came through, if the money for the festivals have come through and they are sitting in the operations account, move it back. It's as simple as that. Now, the reason I'm taking my time is this, that I am hearing a lot of commentary so far about the fact that this means that she has stolen money. Not just you. Not you.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
This means that she's stolen money on the part of Enzimes. I'm saying that's rubbish. Because for all I know, and for since I have known, Ministry of Trade and Ministry of Tourism has always supported festivals. And you and I know that we gave 300,000 Ghana cedis to support what? Chalewote.
Okay.
Now,
the Enzima in a minute so that we can learn.
I'm sorry. Enzima
so
Festival is not a one-off.
Yes.
It travels through many communities. Now, what happened on ground? You were a part of Ghana Music Awards.
Yes.
How much money are we talking about now? 200,000 Ghana cedis. I'm lucky that you were part of the people who organized an event at Nungwa also.
July Nungwa.
You may have sent about 100,000 Ghana cedis.
No, actually it was a little more than 500,000.
Good. But we spent 200,000 Ghana cedis moving Stoneboy. All the big A-list artists.
Hold on. Let me tell you why.
George,
Jesse, we understand exactly what you are saying, and nobody is debating it.
Yes.
Hold on.
Okay.
Nobody has said anywhere. Neither has the Auditor General's report did not state it. We are debating based on this document.
Yes.
The document says funds were misappropriated. Do we all agree?
Misapplied.
Misapplied. Do we all agree?
Lines were moved.
Then there is no problem. There's no debate.
George.
That's what we are all saying.
That's not the only thing. But that's not the only thing.
Yes.
No, hold on. You see, there's another part.
Oh, Philip.
There's another part. There's another part,
Why?
which is what is fueling all the controversy and all the talk out there. There's some part about vehicles. I don't want us to look at that. I'm happy to look at that.
As an example.
Yes.
You are a sales manager.
Yes.
Driving a Toyota Fortuner.
Yes.
You are promoted to sales director. Your vehicle has not come.
Yeah.
Do you park the sales?
Like I said, I don't want us to go there.
No.
Let us leave.
George.
Yes.
Governance is about rules, regulations, and conventions.
Oh, Jesse, if you promote me, and I know my office says this car belongs to, let us assume I'm here with Philip. You understand? And Philip is head of Joy Entertainment. And as head of Joy Entertainment, Philip is given a Kia Pride to be driving or a Kia Cerato to be driving. Then Philip is made maybe deputy CEO.
Yes.
Yes. And Philip knows that the car that he had did not belong to him, Philip Nye. It belonged to the office.
Yes.
Philip has no right taking that car with him because his new car has a car.
Are you done?
Yes, I am.
Okay, George.
Yes.
George. Okay, Philip.
We have to. Philip, no, Jesse, you finish. Right? You finish. No, 2 minutes so that we can bring the others into it.
And we raise
so we can.
Let's deal with the major issues first.
Yes, actually, you're
because
right.
I can't spend time to research.
Let's go.
Let me say this.
Let's go.
I can't spend time to research to come and speak, and then we seem to be in a rush.
Yeah, let's go on. So
today,
we can hear
as
the
it
others.
stands now,
yeah.
George.
Yeah.
The Honorable Yawasa Fumafo.
Yeah.
Was a minister for. He was a minister. No.
Yeah.
He was a senior minister.
Yeah.
Today, the ministry that he represents, does the ministry exist?
Not that
No,
it doesn't.
He's not a government advisor.
Yes, it doesn't.
He needs to transition into that particular role. And Judge, I'm using the word convention because today, Assistant Samia Oku has moved from National Youth Authority or so to National Lotteries. What was he supposed to do? The convention in the government space, not limited to Katrina Feku. The convention is that people who are transferred, many of them use their vehicles until the new vehicles come. I'm not making an excuse for her. I'm saying that if it's an act, it has to be stopped across board. Because I'm saying that. It's listen. I've listened to the commentary so far. The commentary makes it look as if the cars have been stolen, not just you.
In a way,
that the cars have been stolen. The truth of the matter is that she was transferred from one ministry to another, and at the same capacity. Now, guess what the state should have done? Catherine should have parked the two cars that she had, and the state should have gone to buy 2 new cars for her. Think about it. And as she solved the problem, she wasn't fired. She was transferred into a similar role from sales director to marketing director.
In a way.
And the state owed her a car to work with.
But the state did not supply.
Yes.
That doesn't mean she should have taken the one she had.
What
That's
if
a debate. Let me bring. No, hold on. I beg you. Let's bring Rasta into it. Let's hear Rasta and Latif. Let's hear Rasta. I mean, so that we can have Rasta quickly. Yeah. Let's hear you.
I like the energies of Jesse.
It's
good. I mean, I didn't know that was his mom.
No, Rasta. Let's go for it. Okay. We don't have time. Let's go for it.
So,
my mom.
Thanks for the correction.
Let's go on. Yeah.
I heard this proverb once. It says that baby asika wano dede niho. I look at the figures involved here. This is supposed to be a national scandal. At the time that this story broke, this chiefly informed the decision to transfer her to behind the decks somewhere. I've forgotten. And this is it. 300
and...
900 cities.
Yeah. Kwame Pacho. George, can I explain the 900 Ghana cedis?
No.
In 10 seconds.
No. You let him finish.
10 seconds.
Let him finish. If we have time, we'll come back. Let him finish.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he
go
could
ahead.
it on his Facebook.
Yes. No,
too.
don't worry. Go ahead quickly. We don't have time.
So,
yes.
200,000 going to Kundum is what caught my attention because, you could cite Charlie Water, for instance, as having had government interventions and whatnot. But most of the festivals in this country, Udras and whatnot, sometimes it be prayer where government they send by way of support. Prayer, make a libation. That's the only support. This is the first time I've heard anybody bag this much. So listen.
I can give you 4 examples, but I'm afraid.
No, let's go on. Let's go on. Time.
I'll pick it up for your Facebook.
We're running out of time. We're running out of time.
So,
Rasta, let's focus on your point.
Yeah,
let's
so
go.
I'm saying that it is for I don't want to say relatively petty, but I don't the figures and considering the fact that the word is misapplied, not misappropriate, then it begs the question: is this politically motivated? Is she being hung out to dry, and for what? But even on those lines, there's a case to be built because the area, there's no denying the fact that she comes from the area. She had won the seat. She needed to prove useful in quotes to retain the seat. And so her biases, but again, it's part of Ghana. So why not siphon this and replace it later? Whatever it is.
I think the use of siphon is unfair.
Sorry,
it's unfair.
Okay,
why
direct.
not move this fund and then
and
then yes. I mean, it was just movement of funds.
Yes.
Let's not be. Nobody is saying it was stolen.
Yes.
Nobody is saying it was used.
And that's why I am at a loss how it is newsworthy. And again, the revelation that this is all there is to the Afrima bit.
Yeah.
Because the right to host Afrima was supposed to attract fees. Like you want to host FIFA, you want to host the Olympics, it comes with a certain element of cost. And the issues about hiring local specialized labor to work on the festival, which they fell short of, I think it was addressed in one press conference or the other. I mean, when local service providers around events complained.
So I want you to get to your end game, the conclusion, exactly the point.
My point is, this is not news.
It is nothing for us to.
I think that there are
worry ahead
too much issues to deal with. Positive ones, not.
To make it simple. From my perspective, the Auditor General came up with some recommendations.
Exactly.
1, let's make sure the funds are replaced.
That's 1.
2, the cars must be returned, and then people who use the cars must be charged for rentals. Let's go by those rules. Let's abide by it. If they don't, then we have issue. But if they do, then there's no problem because the Auditor General prescribed a solution that must be done. And if there's a solution, let's just go by the solution. And that's it.
That's
so this conversation should actually come up if the minister and whoever default in obeying the Auditor General's recommendations. I think that's it. It's pretty simple. We shouldn't spend so much time discussing this particular topic.
Okay. This one says, GQ, let the co-host read what the Auditor General recommendations is so it doesn't seem he is justifying the misapplication of the funds. He is being emotional. If not, the director wouldn't be surcharged if the money is not refunded. Papasi from Aprede. I think he's saying just was being emotional. GQ, did Catherine Afeku sponsor the Kundum Festival because she comes from that side of the country? I do not know. But she does come from that side of the country. That is not to say that was the reason.
She was their
though.
MP then.
Yes. That is not to say that was the reason. 055-1111-997. The devil message is very free.
I think it's pretty simple.
I mean, for me, I think the recommendations ought to be followed. Once the recommendations are followed and we arrive at a very, very good conclusion,
if these persons are still in government and do not have official vehicles, this is quite steep.
That is also very, very, very steep. This one says, Good evening, Senior George and your noble guest on your topical submission on the entertainment industry. I find it disappointing and disingenuous for a whole vice chair of a parliamentary committee to justify such reckless behavior by a minister of state. We tire for Ghana. Okay, there was no name to that one. Please do also add your names to your messages so that we can identify you. Let me say a very special good evening to my big boss, Notedria, as well. Notedria sent a few messages through. That's quite a lot, actually. Boss, good evening. I see you. Philip, where's Jesse? Okay, so we need to wrap it up. Gentlemen, we are going. Alaji, so the play, you said it's happening when and where?
So it's something Maskeleman.
Yeah.
Happening on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of September. An
Yeah.
open air theater at Labadi Beach Hotel. And it's also the uniqueness about this play is the fact that it's a team building training.
Okay.
That has been turned into a creative stage comedy play.
Yeah.
So fan base, you need to be there. That's the most important thing.
Rasta, we're going.
I would want to spend the rest of my seconds wishing Faganda of Benetton Music Group, head of security, happy birthday.
Oh, it's Faganda's birthday?
Yeah.
Oh,
the man
salute to the
himself.
big man.
And then to Nana Ayebiashe Chumesi of Achim Akrofo from Honorable Samodanso and siblings.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Nana.
And talking about birthdays, happy birthday to Mrs. Dorothy Vlijo. May your good heartedness affect us all positively from your husband Eric and the commercial team and Advertisers and Publisher Solutions Ghana Limited. And a very special happy birthday going out to my girl Aduma. Aduma, the musician, she plays plays lead in
she's
Dede.
part of your cast,
Yes,
yes.
Dede. Happy birthday to you. This one says, when you move from one ministry or government agency to another, you don't take the vehicle or property away with you because the vehicle's property are acquired or registered in the name of that ministry or government agency. Yes, that is coming in from a senatorship. Sent that one through. And a lot more. Now, Billy is in the house. Senior mover.
Yes, George.
Boswabi.
I'm good, and you?
God is good, sir. We're very, very well.
Talk to me.
Yeah. You can do some flashback party or something like that.
No, actually, it's a special show on Flashback called Legends About Time.
Oh, okay.
Which is going to be airing next week and the week after.
Okay.
Next week, we're going to be featuring the life and journey of Marvin Gaye, the soul legend. And the following week will be the turn of Teddy Pendergrass. And it's going to be exciting. We're going to be talking about his journey.
Wow.
Revealing a lot that a lot of people I don't think know about Marvin, the history behind how Let's Get It On was put together, the fight with Berry Gordy, the fight with the likes producers Holland Dozier and Holland. I mean, it's some very heavy stuff.
So it's next week.
It's happening next Saturday on Flashback.
On Flashback.
That's correct.
So that's right after Showbiz A to Z.
You got it.
We go straight into it, and we're going to be celebrating the legends. Afode here.
It's going to be exciting.
That is a show I definitely would love. Okay, so I'm going to leave it to you. But what's happening on Flashback tonight?
Nothing but great music, and also it's a build-up to what's going to happen next week.
Nothing but great music and a build up to what's going to happen next week. Okay, that's the man. You heard the man, Billy. Thank you very much. Show was produced by the man, Philip Nye and Anita. And of course, Selwyn put us on social media. Anita, thank you very much. And, my name is George Quaye. God willing, we'll come your way again next week with another exciting edition of Showbiz A to Z. The news comes up at 6, and then Billy takes over. Good evening.